Hey guys, before the video starts, I just wanted to give a quick announcement that one, I hope you guys are doing really well and crushing whatever you put your mind to. Also, number two, for the month of October and November, I've decided to donate all of the revenue the channel earns, so this video and any video from here till the end of November, to Nationwide Children's Hospital through BuckeyeThon. BuckeyeThon is a student-run organization with one goal in mind: to end pediatric cancer and blood disorders. So if this is something that interests you, please consider watching, liking, sharing this. It really helps me a ton. Like I said, all of the money generated from this video and every video from now till the end of November will be donated. And if you also are interested in just donating, I will have a link in my description. But let's get on with the review.
How's it going, guys? My name is Voss, and if you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. We are back at it with another car review, and today I'm in the 2020 Tesla Model Y. If you're here for the first time, well, thank you for coming. This is a automotive channel that kind of does everything from car reviews to car rebuilds. We picked up our first channel rebuild back in like March, April, which was a Porsche Boxster. It's pretty much nearly done. It's been a blast, but we also do car reviews, and like based on that, we are today in the 2020 Tesla Model Y, and I'm joined with...
Hi, my name is Aditya. If you want to subscribe to me, my YouTube is Magma FNM. I post some gaming clips, and yeah.
And this is your guys' 2020 Tesla Model Y, correct?
Right.
So what we're gonna do is talk about the quick numbers. I don't want to bore you. You can look up the more important things, but I want to give you kind of the driving impressions. I've been in the Tesla Model 3, Model 3 Performance, the Model S, the Model S P100D. So I have been in a fair share of Teslas. I'm pretty familiar with how they drive. This is very similar to the Tesla Model 3 in terms of its interior looks. So you guys got the solid black exterior, right, with the black interior. Then the upgraded wheels.
Yeah, 20-inch induction wheels.
And then the trim on all of this is black, which is way better than the chrome.
Yeah, that's another thing that I really liked. I was thinking, like, if the Y had the chrome, you know, the chrome trim, I was like, are you sure you want to go all black? They got the all black trim.
Yeah,
and
the black looks so much better. My only gripe with it still, and it is when they made the Model 3, is not a fan of the wood that they put. But you can get a wrap for that. I get my wraps through EV Annex. I will link them down in the description below. They send us some stuff for our carbon fiber on the Model 3. It looks amazing. It's been 2 years and it's held up great. But so there are ways around it. But I just think when you're buying a car that's got a close to $50,000, price,
right, it
would have been nice to see something else other than some weird looking wood, just my opinion.
Yeah, and I wish there were definitely more options for trim.
The white looks, if you get the white interior, you do get a white strip here, I'm pretty sure. So it does look a little different, but the white interior, I like white interior. I could just never keep it clean. So that's always been my concern with it.
And I golf, and there's just a lot of dirt, and
so
too much for us.
Like I said, this is the 2020 Tesla Model Y, and with that, this is Tesla's newest vehicle. It's actually like a mid-size crossover, essentially. The way their lineup works is you have the first and foremost the Model S, then the X came out, and then the 3 came out shortly after. Now they're on the Y. So the S and the 3 are the cars, they're the sedans, and then the X and the Y are the crossover and bigger SUV. This has a very similar shared platform with the 3 in terms of the wheel, the interior of this. It's just a little bit bigger. It's got a similar dual panorama moonroof, and the windshield slope's the same, but overall it feels very similar, just bigger.
Yeah.
Now, you've been in the 3, right?
Yeah, I've been in the 3, and when we test drove the Model Y, we test drove the Model Y Performance, and we just sat in a 3. Definitely a big difference in room. If you guys out there like really want to get a Tesla with a lot of room, Y has a lot more room than 3.
Yeah, I was just sitting back there temporarily. I mean, I'm not tall. For reference, I'm about 5'7", but I'll put a little clip from where I was sitting. There is ample leg space for whoever's sitting up here and for back there, and the back seats fold down, so if you need to take a cargo down, you have a pretty nice sized rear hatch, but you also can fold the back seats down so you get a good bit of cargo space. Some more quick numbers, more based on the performance, but you're looking at right around 350 horsepower and 375 foot-pounds of torque. I don't know what the kilowatt hour for the battery would be, and the curb weight on that is right around 4,400 pounds. So this is not a small vehicle by any means, but that still translates to a 0 to 60 for the dual motor long range, about 4.8-ish seconds. I've always noticed whenever Tesla states 0 to 60, I have sometimes seen like an actual like user test come in a little bit lower, so it could be a little bit faster. And then price wise, like I said, this is about $49,000-ish. If you get the performance, it bumps up to about $59,000. There are some additions you can add in there. For example, the self-driving option, which this is fitted with, is about $8,000, correct?
Correct, as for now.
And then there were a few more options you can get that can bump up the price, but overall, I mean, the price, there's you get the car, and then there's very few things you can you can add on, and then that's pretty much. Did you guys reserve this ahead of time, or did you just walk in, spec one out, and then took delivery of it like 4 to 6 weeks later?
Yeah, so we test drove one just to see how it was, and like 3 weeks later, we ordered one from the Tesla website, and it came. So
that's awesome. That's pretty good.
That's actually how we did it. So this, if you guys want to know, 7-seater version comes out in 2021, and that's a $3,000 upgrade. So this one does not have that. This is just a 5-seater black interior.
You also can't get just a standard range right now. You can only get the dual motor extended range or the performance.
Yeah.
And that's because the dual motor, they're trying to keep their production similar. The dual motor, there's a motor in the front and the back, and they're trying to simplify their production process by pumping out the cars like quicker. So that's why they did that. But other than that, like I said, it's very similar to a Model 3. So I'm very familiar with how everything is. The screen is just a single screen in the middle. You would see your park, drive, reverse on the left-hand side and your speed, and you can see your navigation. And then in addition to there, you can control the car with the different lights, locks, display driving. You can pick standard, sport for steering. There's a lot of other things. It has regenerative braking. You can look at the backup camera, the energy, the entertainment web. If you're parked somewhere, you can play games. It's very, very similar to Model 3. I like how they're keeping their they're keeping the insides of the newer vehicles similar, like the 3 and the Y, while making it more like the performance, and that's what's kind of changing.
And I think Tesla kind of nailed it on these, entry-level 3 and Y. They did exactly what they needed to do, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, so. And if you see right now, in America, more people are trending towards getting SUVs and crossovers.
Yeah.
The average price of a new car as of last year was like $35,000. So cars are getting more and more expensive. The average price of a new SUV was like $38,000 to $40,000. So this isn't that much more, even at the extended range. So when the base comes out, it'll be right in that category. But that's enough rambling. Let's get it on the road and see how it does.
Yeah.
There's a few ways to get in the car. If you have the app, you can do it all remotely like that. But since I'm doing this for review, I have the key card, very similar to how Tesla did the Model 3, that you can put on the A-pillar over there, and you can unlock and lock your car if you're walking away. If you're inside, to get going, you just set it down here, and you push foot on the brake, and you can hit the stop down and go into drive. And then now we're in drive, so then you really don't need that anymore after that until you're parked again. But other than that, it's all just very similar. The only other difference I thought you said was now it comes standard with wireless charging, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Time to see how it drives. What's been your favorite thing so far about having a Model Y? Because you guys just got it like a couple weeks ago, right?
And I've never been in any Tesla, so it's just a new electric Tesla experience. It's just completely different.
Other than like the reviews, I mean, other than the test drives you guys have done, you've never owned a Tesla, correct?
Never owned a Tesla.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It's our first time, and we love it so far.
Do you like how, I know your family had an X5, like a pretty spec'd out BMW X5 beforehand. That's a very luxurious and it's a different vehicle. It's an SUV, but it's a different vehicle. When you come into one of these, it's way more like modern and minimalistic. What do you think of how this looks in comparison?
Yeah, and I thought that the X5 would be miles better interior-wise and just a feel. But honestly, as you get used to owning a Model Y, it just gets better. You know, the more you look at it, the more you sit in it, it's honestly not that bad, and I like it. And I really don't think it's a compromise.
No, and pricing wise, in that 50,000 range, I'm not saying that's cheap. That is more attainable than speccing out a top of the line Porsche Cayenne, a BMW X5, an Audi Q8, S8, or SQ8, or whatever you want to get. So this does come in a little bit under that, and it is a little more affordable, even like as compared to like a Porsche Macan or an X3 or any of those. But no, it literally feels. It feels like every other Tesla I've been in. It's comfortable, it's smooth, it's got good pickup still. Like, I apologize for the cut. As we floored it, our camera angle got all messed up, but 0-60 happens in right around 4.8 seconds. That is still very fast.
Yeah.
Like, people don't realize, like, that is an extremely fast for a 5-seat, could be a potentially 7-seat in the future family vehicle.
Yeah, definitely.
You know? But no, it drives great. The regen braking works really well. I'll show you the autopilot towards the end, but I mean, it feels no different than the other Teslas I've been in. That's a good thing. Like it's easy to drive. Were you concerned, you know, coming from, and I'm asking you this because this is your first time, you know, stepping into like a vehicle like this, were you guys concerned when you went from the X5, which has a lot of gadgets and a lot of gizmos, coming to this where now you don't have a odometer, you don't have a tach, it's all right here?
Yeah, it's definitely a big change. And
was there an adjustment?
A lot.
Was there?
A lot of, and my dad, he still is not familiar with this, but he still likes it, and once he gets to know it, I bet he'll like it too. And it's awesome. So yeah. One thing that was kind of a negative, and a lot of people were talking about this, was the lack of a heads-up display, which I thought would be really nice because, you know, you don't have...
I will agree with that, because I remember when I reviewed the Model 3 Performance 2 years ago, my big knock was for the price point, there should have been a heads-up display.
Right.
I still believe there should be a heads-up display. I'm sure you can retrofit something, like I'm sure there's some aftermarket stuff you can throw on, but it'd be nice if Tesla did offer that. But no, it feels really good. I moved the steering to sport just because I'm more comfortable with a heavier steering, but no, this feels really good. The other really cool thing with this is all of it is pretty much operated by these thumb wheels, like all the controls.
Yeah.
You can change your mirrors with the thumb wheels, you adjust the volume with thumb wheels. They all do different functions.
Yeah, they're like the two main buttons for controlling, I guess.
Let's give it a little bit out of this turn and see how it does. Yeah, like see, like that.
Yeah.
That I don't know if it's because of how big it is. I mean, because it's not light. You know, 4,400 pounds is heavy, but it feels to me like it's faster than 4.8 seconds.
Yeah.
It just feels quick.
Yeah, and we test drove the performance, and that was crazy enough. And I was interested to see how the long range does. It's really not bad. Like, if you guys are like, oh, it's a big $10,000 performance, and you want to go long range, it's not bad. And I think you guys will still like the long range.
And you don't, even with long range, you can have all the fun, and you don't really compromise the distance, because you're getting 316 miles of range, I think is what they estimated. So so there's still plenty of that. But I mean, if you just want to, you know, like that's that is the best part about this, because you know, it being electric, you're not shifting through gears. There's just one, you know, speed, and you just go essentially.
Yeah.
I love the regen braking. That's like one of my favorite features, because you barely have to touch the brakes.
And speaking of regen braking, that was another major thing that my dad had to adjust to from the X5, because the X5 kind of glides, and then this, you know, just stops, which both are not bad. But oh, here we go. Oh, wow, yeah, it's awesome.
We will do a little pull up here and see what happens.
All right.
But no, it's fast. I don't know what. No matter what anyone says, it's fast.
Yeah.
We'll do a little dig pull. All right. Ready?
Ready.
Here is the acceleration of a long-range dual-motored Model Y. Yeah, I still feel it in my face and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's still really fast. I don't know what the 0-60 of the performance is, but it's got.
3.5, I think.
Yeah, that's fast.
Yeah,
that's really fast. Oh my gosh, like that.
Yeah.
This feels fun.
Like this is already fast, and that thing just takes.
For most people, that is more
It's too
speed than
much,
they would
honestly.
probably ever want. So
Yeah, unless you really want the performance, go ahead. But this is like a.
and a lot of people, you can even, let's say, even if you get the extended range dual motor, if you don't want that, you can change the acceleration to chill. If you have the performance, there's a sport option on there, but it's still like, the nice thing is it caters to your driving like styles. If you don't like feeling like that, you can kind of tame it down. But I mean, the only way to drive this car is in the fastest way possible.
Yeah.
So now that you guys had it a few weeks now, what would be something if you thought could be better? What would you have to say? Coming from not me, because I've been in a lot of different vehicles, but from somebody who owns it now that has had some actual experience with it.
That's kind of a hard question. It's honestly such a good car. It's hard to really point at stuff.
If you were nitpicking and stuff.
Heads-up display.
Heads-up display. Okay. Yeah.
And there's still like a few here and there panel gaps, but
yeah. Have they been doing better with that? Because I remember back a couple years ago when the Model 3 showed up, panel gaps were a huge concern.
And apparently, what happened, Model Y, if you were like one of the first 1,000 people, I was watching a few other people. If you're like the first 1,000 people, there were a bunch of build quality issues on that thing.
Even on the Y?
Yeah, on
really?
the Y there was a lot.
Wow.
I think this is 5 months into production, 5-6 months, and this one doesn't have a lot of issues, just like minor stuff, but they've resolved.
What made you want to get the all black, like the black on the outside, black on the inside?
We just love the look of it. It's just really aggressive,
it's awesome.
Very aggressive.
I love the updated wheels. They look so much better than the stock ones, the induction wheels.
Definitely. And I think that's one of if you're gonna get a Y, that's probably one of the first upgrades I would recommend. Getting the rims.
So now I'll show you guys the self-driving up in this turn. So you can, once you get in there, you just keep your hands close. If you hit the stop down twice, you can change the speed by hitting it, flicking down for 5 miles or 1 mile an hour increments. But I'll bring it down just a hair. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's so effortless. It's so good. Like it's just so good. I haven't driven a whole lot of self-driving cars, I'll admit. Most of the ones I have driven are Teslas, but they're just so easy to drive. How's the charging been and whatnot? Pretty good?
It's good. Yeah, we got the wall connector, and it's working out pretty nicely. Good charge times.
Have you taken it to his charging station at all?
We've never taken it to a supercharger. This car only has about 500 miles on it, so we really haven't had any supercharger experience.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but we're definitely thinking of doing a road trip soon.
Yeah, I mean, when we got the Model 3, we took it on a trip to Michigan, and one of the biggest, concerns was, hey, will we make it there, or will we have to stop and waste like an hour or two charging? Right. What we noticed was we were able to get pretty much within an hour outside of our destination, roughly, and we stopped at, a lot of times Meyer seems to have Tesla charging stations, and we were able to plug the car in, go inside, use the restroom, grab some snacks, come back, and the car was at 85%. I don't know where it was to begin with. I mean, it was lower, but not like dead. But I mean, it was enough to get us another 200 some miles of range. So we had no issues getting somewhere, and So for everyone that is concerned about charging and having to wait on it, yeah, you're gonna wait a little more than just a fill up. But it was only like 20 minutes. Like it wasn't like I had to wait 2 hours, because it trickle charges. So the first chunk of charging goes quicker, and then it trickles down and slows, for the last half of it, last little bit.
Yeah.
But,
and I guess if you manage your time, meanwhile while you're shopping, charge it. I think it's just the best use of it, so.
They used to have it also to where you got the charging for life on if you bought a certain trim. They stopped doing that. So now if you do go to a charging station, you have to pay for it, but it's still relatively cheaper than a tank of gas. So
yeah, sure. And another thing with this being electric is, very, very, very low moving parts, so low maintenance.
Yeah, I mean, just from having the Model 3 2 years now, there's no oil, so there's no oil changes, there's no there's really been nothing in maintenance that has been needed.
Yeah.
They even have, I know with the way these are set up, I think there's only one moving part in that motor in the front and the back, so there's very little things that could go wrong.
Yeah. And the only fluid, when we opened the frunk, the only thing I saw was I think the wiper fluid.
Yep.
That's it,
But this is just, it's effortless.
Yeah.
It's so easy to drive. wow. Yeah, it's drives great.
Yeah. Yeah, we were also considering Model X as well, like a used Model X, which will come around this range. But I thought, you know, the Model Y would be better, new car and everything, and it really paid off. I honestly think it was a better decision too, if you guys were looking into used Model X's, but that's just my opinion.
Well, all right, guys, that's gonna wrap up this review. This was my first impressions on a 2020 Tesla Model Y. Thank you so much for inviting me out and letting me drive this car. Make sure, go ahead and say your channel name. I will put it here.
Magma FNM.
Okay, make sure you go check him out. He does some gaming content and whatnot, so go ahead and show him some support. But if you guys enjoyed this, please hit that like button. You know, the more people that watch this, the more people that like it, the more people share it, is the more it you know, reaches others, and it's a way for me to keep doing this. I'm going to end this here, but I am going to end you guys on a little POV drive, so that way you can see a first-hand experience of how everything looks. So thank you for watching, and I will see you guys later.
You